Today I'm going to be comparing the multi-award winning Nordic Pocket Saw against its Chinese knockoff copy. The price difference is huge. 5 times cheaper than the Nordic Pocket Saw. So, for about £10, £10, €10, offer why not? Right then, so let's get this out of the packet and see how it compares to the original. Okay. Hey. Hey. It flies. Okay, so I'm not going to compare main packaging to packaging because obviously, as I've mentioned, this thing is 5 times cheaper than the Nordic Pocket Saw. 50, 10. Actually, currently less now apparently. So we have a little nylon pouch with a belt loop. Which is sturdy enough in comparison. Obviously the belt loop on the back is very different. It's a lot smaller. So we have bright orange nylon handles. So first impressions is it looks okay. It has the Nordic Pocket Saw has carbon steel heat treated links, etc. Whereas this one, and I'm just going to go by the advertising, which can't really be trusted because it is eBay after all, is manganese steel. But it is very delicate. And very small like the Nordic Pocket Saw. So let's get them out and have a. Obviously, it already has mineral oil on there, and obviously because this table is soaking wet, it is dripping all over the table. But yeah, it looks so far the same. Compared it to the original. Oh right, okay. Well, first thing I noticed is the handles are definitely a lot smaller on the copy. Links are about the same size. Where the nylon handles meet the actual chain itself, different links, different connector. Come on, I'll show you. So at first glance they do look very similar. And so the links for the handles are, as you can see, very different. But the chain is almost the same size. I will measure them and I will weigh it. So that's 142 grams in the packet. The Nordic Pocket Saw in the packet is 182. The China copy is 124 grams. And the Nordic Pocket Saw is 134 grams. I think you'll agree that's definitely worth saying they're identical in size. The Nordic Pocket Saw is the one furthest away at the top, and the China copy is the one at the bottom. So yeah, I don't know if impressed is the right word, but as a facsimile it is a very good copy in terms of the chain. Hand grips are smaller, obviously the colour is just the colour, and the way the chain connects to the handles, obviously that's different as well, but as I said, that's, you save money by using slightly different materials and different cutting methods. So what we all want to know is, how do they compare in terms of usage? I'm not gonna, according to the eBay advert, the China copy will cut wood up to 45 centimeters, that's 18 inches, and the Nordic Pocket Saw says 10 centimeters, which is about 4 inches. But as you've seen on my previous video, I have cut larger logs with it. So right then, let's try and find some wood and give it a go. Okay, full disclosure, my first attempt at doing this was horrific. The Nordic Pocket Saw kept binding on the log. And then I remembered I haven't used this in 5 months, so the oiling that I'd given the chain when I'd packed it away during that summer glamping, summer special video I made was probably not sufficient enough. So given the chains a second oil, the weather has turned a bit nasty, it's now pretty much raining properly instead of the drizzly stuff. I thought it's only fair I oil the chain up properly and give it a fair comparison. So another log, I've propped it up on the side just so I can get the chain underneath, and let's give it another go. Having your foot on top of the log does seem to help the chain from not binding, because it's bending outwards instead of forcing itself back in. So as you can see, Nordic Pocket Saw, when it's lubed up correctly, no issues. Right, let's try the China copy now. It does feel like I'm going to pick up a bit of dirt when you do it this way. The loops on the handles are smaller, so it makes the chain feel shorter. Okay, foot on log, stabilise, and saw. Okay, that's better. I can definitely feel a difference. Definitely feel a difference. One more attempt at this, just to make sure I'm not imagining things. Yeah. Yeah, definitely different. Right, there is a difference. Right, let's find somewhere to sit down and... Whew, I'm warmed up now. Oh, horrible weather. Right, okay. Okay, I'm not going to sit down. The benches are all out in the open in the rain. I'm not enjoying that. So I thought I shall stand. Whew. So yeah, there's definitely a difference. I wasn't sure that the first attempt, but oh, hang on a moment. That's why I did a second try, just to see if what I was feeling was a genuine difference, or whether it was just because there was a chunky bit of wood, there was a knot in the wood maybe. But check the wood, no knots. So what have my thoughts, at least anyways. So as you can probably see the difference in the lengths with the handles. Nordic Pocket Saw is on the left, or your left, which is this one. So the handles are much longer, and it does actually make the chain feel like it's longer as well, like you've got more working area, even though the actual chain itself is the same length, 65 centimetres. Drop that down, you can see it's the same. But yeah, that makes quite a difference. You'd think just a few inches, few centimetres would be would be negligible, but no, there is a difference. So what was I jabbering on about with the wood? When I'm using the Nordic Pocket Saw, it's quite smooth. There is some juddering as you're going from tooth to tooth, but compared to the Chinese copy, it's almost not worth talking about. The Chinese copy, it's and you can feel it all the way up your arms. Whereas the Nordic Pocket Saw is very slight. Like I said, almost not worth talking about. In fairness, I had oiled up the Chinese one as well, just to make sure that they were both very well lubricated, so there was no bias with what I was doing. So can purchase these China pocket chainsaws a lot cheaper, but I went for the closest like-for-like comparison that I could find. So same number of teeth. Wasn't expecting the chains to be the same sizes because there wasn't enough information on the advertisements, but I thought, well, same number of teeth, that's as close as I'm going to get. Everything else after that is part of the comparison. It's yeah, you can buy these for probably half of the price of this, and you'll find it's just a regular chainsaw blade, whereas every fourth link has the chainsaw blade, and they're not worth you really using by hand because you're not going to get enough sawing action out of them. So, as I said, there are smaller ones, there are thinner ones, there are lighter ones, but I didn't want to purchase those because I didn't like the look of them. But that's your choice if you decide to go for something slightly different. So yes, I suppose the big question, isn't it, is the Nordic Pocket Saw worth 5 times the price? From the first few attempts, I would say maybe not 5 times the price, but it's definitely better quality product. That's obvious. Once they've cleaned up, obviously they'll look as clean and shiny and new as they do. But it's your choice. I've not been paid to review these products. I've bought them both out of my own pocket. And it's just, I thought I'd try them. Well, consider it so cheap. Try it. What can it hurt? If it breaks in the first attempt, like I said, so be it. But I have a spare, a backup. The weight differences, especially with the pouches, may be a consideration for you. It's worth thinking about. But it's a tiny number of grams. I don't think that's really worth going to make a big difference unless you are looking at going to the ultra light backpacking stuff. Still glad I bought the Nordic Pocket Saw itself, and as I said, I have a spare one. Right, catch you on the next one. Bye bye. So let's unpack this thing and see how it compares. So let's unbox it. So let's get this thing unpacketed and see how it compares to the original.